Part 1: The Heart of the Islamic World. In the center of a vast square in Mecca, the holiest city of Islam, stands a majestic black cube, unwavering and serene, as if connecting heaven and earth. This is the Kaaba, also known as the Sacred House, the spiritual symbol of 1.8 billion Muslims across the globe. Surrounding the Kaaba, hundreds of thousands of Muslim pilgrims dressed in pure white garments move in unison, counterclockwise. They do not shout or rush.
Their steps, silent and synchronized, create a mesmerizing flow.
Forming great circles of faith that ripple around in moving stone. The scene evokes the image of waves gently circling an island of eternity. The Kaaba is not adorned with domes of gold or intricate statues. It is simple and austere black cube draped in a black silk cloth embroidered with verses from the Quran in gold and silver threads. Yet, within that simplicity lies immense power, the power to unite humanity through faith. Each year, millions of Muslims make the journey to this sacred place, regardless of wealth, age, race, or language. In front of the Kaaba, all people are equal. All egos dissolve. Only a humble soul remains, standing before the Almighty. Mecca lies in the western region of Saudi Arabia, about 80 kilometers from the Red Sea. Since ancient times, it has been a crucial stop along the trade routes connecting the East and West. Caravans carrying spices, gold, and stories pass through Mecca, sharing goods and ideas. But Mecca is more than a trading hub. It is believed to be the earthly home chosen by Allah Himself. Today, the city is enveloped by modern structures, yet at its heart stands the Grand Mosque of Mecca, the largest mosque in the Islamic world. Covering over 356,000 square meters. Its grand architecture is adorned with gleaming white marble that sparkles under the sun. At night, thousands of mercury lights keep the sanctuary bright as day. The mosque is also known as the Sacred Forbidden Sanctuary, an area strictly off-limits to non-Muslims. Along the highways leading into Mecca, signs and checkpoints clearly mark the boundary. Only Muslims are permitted to enter. Anyone attempting to violate this rule is subject to detention and deportation. It is a place where not only violence and conflict are forbidden, but even foul language is discouraged. It rests on a marble base about 25 centimeters high. Each corner of the Kaaba is named after a direction: Iraqi corner, Syrian corner, Yemeni corner, and the corner of the Black Stone. At the latter, set about 1.5 meters above ground, lies a sacred black stone believed to be a meteorite. Once pure white, it is said to have turned black from absorbing the sins of mankind. Pilgrims walking around the Kaaba strive to kiss the stone, as Prophet Muhammad once did. But today, due to the massive crowds, most simply raise their hands toward it in reverence. Each year, the Kaaba is draped with the kiswa black silk covering embroidered with Quranic verses in gold and silver thread. This sacred cloth is replaced annually in a solemn ceremony that has continued for over 1,400 years. The interior of the Kaaba contains no images or idols, in accordance with Islamic principles. It is sparse, with 3 large sandalwood columns, a small cabinet for sacred perfumes, and a few hanging lanterns. The Kaaba predates Islam itself. It is believed to have been built by the Prophet Abraham and his son Ismail as commanded by Allah. Before the rise of Islam, it was a pagan It was the Prophet Muhammad who purified it, removing all idols and pilgrimage to Mecca, known as every Muslim with the means and help. Hajj is not just a ritual, it is a spiritual journey. Hajj takes place during the 12th month of Dhul. Each act of the pilgrimage Tawaf, circling the Kaaba 7 times. Sa'i, running 7 times between the hills of Safa and Marwa. Mina, spending a night in the valley under open skies. Arafat, standing on the Mount of Mercy in deep prayer and repentance. Raini al-Jamarat, throwing stones at 3 pillars symbolizing the devil. Animal sacrifice, reflecting Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son before Allah substituted a ram. At the end of Hajj, pilgrims earn the honorific title Haji, signifying their spiritual rebirth. One of the most unique aspects of Islam is that wherever they are in the world, Muslims pray facing the Kaaba. From the Arctic to South Africa, New York to Jakarta, all Muslims turn in unison toward this sacred point. This creates a powerful sense of unity and invisible thread connecting people of different nations, cultures, and languages in one direction, one belief, one Allah. Part 2, The Flame of Faith, Muhammad, and the Birth of Islam. Around the year 570, in the city of Mecca, a boy was born. No one could have known that this child would one day change the fate of an entire peninsula. Shake 2 of the world's greatest empires, and lay the foundation for one of humanity's largest religions. His name was Muhammad. From the beginning, Muhammad's life was marked by hardship. His father died before he was born. His mother passed away when he was 6. Raised by his grandfather, and later his uncle, Muhammad grew up without formal education. He began working as a merchant, traveling across regions like Syria, Palestine, and Yemen. In those journeys, he didn't just trade goods. He encountered cultures, and with them, 2 of the great monotheistic religions, Judaism and Christianity. These experiences left a lasting impression on him. He saw societies governed by order, by moral codes, by belief in one creator. His heart began to yearn for something deeper, a vision to reform a society mired in chaos, polytheism, and injustice. At that time, the Arabian Peninsula was divided and turbulent. The people worshipped hundreds of idols. Mecca's elites grew wealthy from the idol trade, profiting from pilgrims who came to the Kaaba, which then housed over 360 statues. Ethics had all but vanished. Female infants were buried alive, the poor were oppressed, and truth was a commodity. Aerial view of the Grand Mosque in Mecca at night, glowing with thousands of lights, surrounded by white marble walls, photorealistic, 8K clarity. There, he meditated for hours, contemplating life, suffering, and divine purpose.
10. One phết phấn nát in TI 610, thế kép oxy phiếu ít, dây điên lắc.
The angel Gabriel appeared, bearing a divine message from Allah. Read, Jibril commanded. I cannot read, Muhammad replied. Again, Jibril said, read in the name of your Lord who created. This marked the sacred beginning of Islam, the first revelation that would continue over to decades and become the Quran, the holy book of Islam. At first, Muhammad shared the revelations privately. His wife Khadija, a wise and wealthy merchant, was the first to believe him. Soon, others joined his servant, his cousin Ali, his close friend Abu Bakr. They prayed in secret, learning new verses, embracing monotheism. But when Muhammad began to preach openly, declaring that all idols were false, that only Allah should be worshipped, Mecca reacted with fury. The message threatened both faith and fortune. They mocked him, they called him mad. Yet Muhammad remained steadfast. He urged his followers to be patient, to hold fast to truth, and not to retaliate. Islam was not just a religion, it was a call to justice. During this time, Muhammad experienced an event that would renew his followers' faith, a night journey and ascension, Isra and Miraj. In the year 621, the angel Jibril carried Muhammad upon a mythical creature, Burik. In an instant, he was taken to Jerusalem, and from there, ascended through the 7 heavens.
Hemet bao giá phân lai màu sơ si, hi sơ si, an ebo zaham, an tamat li si tut before Allah.
There, he received guidance on prayer and the spiritual duties of Muslims. He returned to Mecca with a strengthened spirit. Though many doubted the miraculous journey, his true followers saw it as proof. Muhammad was the final prophet, the seal of all messengers. By 622, the situation in Mecca had become dire. Assassins plotted his death. With his close companions, Muhammad secretly fled Mecca under the cover of night, traveling to the city of Yathrib, later called Medina. This migration, known as the Hijra, marked the beginning of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Muhammad became more than a prophet, he was a statesman. He established a just society, drafted the Constitution of Medina, and created a pluralistic community that respected multiple faiths. Islam was now both a spiritual path and a governing system. From Medina, Islam grew stronger. Battles were fought, but through it all, Muhammad emphasized ethics, mercy, and fairness. Then in the year 630, Muhammad returned to Mecca, this time with 10,000 followers. There was no bloodshed. The Meccan elite surrendered. Muhammad entered the Kaaba, removed the idols, and declared, "There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger." He cleansed the Kaaba and restored it as a monotheistic sanctuary. This completed his mission. The city that once expelled him now embraced his message. Massive cooling fans and water stations inside the Grand Mosque, logistical side of faith. In 632, Muhammad performed his final pilgrimage known as the Farewell Hajj. There, he delivered his last sermon. Treat women with kindness. Live honestly and fairly. No one is superior to another except through piety. Spread the message of Islam with peace. But he left behind more than words. A complete way of life. Today, as millions circle the Kaaba, they follow the footsteps of a man who began with nothing but conviction and faith. From orphan to prophet, Muhammad's story is not merely history, it is the enduring testament of a faith that reshaped